Today we are going to discuss on a very important topic, which is need of the hour in today's atmosphere when we all are fighting to control coronavirus. And I hope all of you will agree with me that healthcare workers in hospitals, laboratory staff, doctors, they all are working round the clock for handling the cases of coronavirus around the world, not only in India. If you guys following the news channels or newspapers, you might know that in recent times, like in next last 1.5 months or 1 month or so, again we have seen a kind of second wave of coronavirus in India, and many other countries are also seeing large number of cases of coronavirus. Okay, and among that, if you see various healthcare workers, including doctors, nurses, laboratory technicians, right, and other staff members in the hospitals, they are also they are also getting infected. Right? If you are a general public, you are living in your home, okay, not involved, you have nothing to do with hospital or laboratory, you may get infection because you are mostly not having you know proper knowledge to save yourself, or you does not have proper personal protective equipments like proper mask or other dresses, special dresses which people uses in hospitals. But just think about the people who is working in the hospitals and labs. They have formal education to work in the hospitals, in the laboratories. Okay, they have a proper gear, still they are getting infection. So what do you think, according to you, what is the reason behind it? Can some of you tell me that in messages, or maybe you can on your mic and speak? What is your opinion? Why do you think these people who is working in hospitals and laboratories are getting infected with coronavirus? Yes, some of you can speak on mic if you want, or you can write. Weak immune system, one person has told. Weak immune system, that is fine. Okay,
Maybe
maybe
carelessness of in the
carelessness.
preventions, or
Carelessness.
the virus size is very smaller compared to the protections we have made.
Okay, so they can't see virus, so they cannot be always, you know, they are not always, very active in protecting themselves. Maybe let me see some messages in chat box. Also, I'm getting not following proper norms and guidelines. Okay, improper safety management. Then loopholes in biosafety measures. Right. So very good. That I hope. I'm seeing some people are responding, and they're quite thinking in a way of the constant. The way what I was also thinking, right? Some people are also responding now, right? So it's fine. It's nice that you guys are responding. Okay, it's very important. Should be an interactive workshop, and I'm expecting a lot of questions because all of us are living in the scenario where biosafety could be very important. See, the reason these people are getting infection. One of the main reason behind that is biosafety was never considered as a important aspect in our formal education. If you see the syllabus of majority of the universities in India, whether it is medical courses, paramedical courses, or the formal courses like professional courses like microbiology, biotechnology, you will find only very few universities has included biosafety in their curriculum, right? And because of that, majority of the people, even after having medical degrees, paramedical degrees, they are not much aware about biosafety. Is it clear? Second thing, accidentally anybody can get infection even after having lot of safety measures. After even knowing everything, anybody can get infection. Nobody can, nobody is foolproof. There's no technique which is foolproof. But yes, if we know the basics of biosafety, if we are good at, basics of microbiology, we can keep ourselves safe when we are into that kind of conditions in day-to-day life, or if we are part of a hospital, maybe as a microbiologist, maybe as a lab technician, or maybe in any other designation into hospital. I suppose most of you who have joined this workshop, you are microbiologist or biotechnologist, and you might be willing to get into this field later on, right? Some of you might be willing definitely to go to hospitals, or some of you, I'm seeing many of my students are attending this workshop, And during classes, many of them says we want to become virologist. Then some people says that they want to get into hospitals for getting microbiologist job and so on. So I hope many of you will get into that field, and there you are always at risk because you are always dealing with pathogens. So the knowledge of biosafety is very important. Okay, so in the first session, we will be basically talking about or discussing about need of biosafety. Although you have all understood, all of you are well aware now because of Corona also that what is the need of biosafety. But I would like to show you some scientific studies which also will emphasize on the similar kind of thing and various aspects of need of biosafety. Right. So first, okay, laboratory acquired severe acute respiratory syndrome. Laboratory acquired SARS. Okay, SARS is a virus. It is also a variety of coronavirus. This is known as SARS coronavirus. If you want, you can go through in the bottom and you can find out. See, SARS-CoV. That is SARS coronavirus. Right? That was one of the first strain of first strain of coronavirus to be identified in China in 2003. Right? So during what this paper describes the occurrence of SARS coronavirus into a person who was working in a biosafety laboratory, and that laboratory was actually handling SARS coronavirus, right? If you just see the line which is mentioned here, a 27-old graduate student in microbiology at a local university was admitted to Singapore General Hospital on September 3, 2003 with fever, right? So it was just a 27-year-old person. He was student. He was not even completed his study. He was doing some research work or project work, during his studies at a laboratory where SARS coronavirus was handled. And when we are in our young age, when we are students, we have lot of priorities. Other than studies also, other than research also, we have lot of priorities. And similarly, that person was also having. And what he did is mistakenly he touched the vial of SARS coronavirus in the lab, and then without gloves, and then later on he forgot to wash his hands, and through hands the virus went to his respiratory system. He got infected, and later on he developed the symptoms of SARS coronavirus, that is subacute respiratory syndrome symptoms. And with the symptoms he was admitted to the hospital in Singapore. Is it clear? Just a small mistake in the lab, right, resulted into occurrence of severe symptoms into that person. And not only him, the family members, the neighbors, and the people whom they met, all of them were quarantined for certain period of time to ensure that disease does not spread further. Like you might have heard recently in case of corona infection also, initially government was doing contact tracing. I hope all of you might have heard this word many times in recent 1 year, right? Contact tracing. That was also done in this case, and all the people who came into contact with this person are quarantined. Okay, later on this person survived, but that teaches us a lesson that there is a need of increasing biosafety in microbiology laboratories, where the especially where the dangerous microorganisms are being handled. I hope everybody is clear on this, right? Any questions? Any questions? Fine. Okay. Next case study is about a girl. She was a plague researcher, right? She was working on plague. She was working on a organism. Okay. So if you go through this study, you will find that this person, okay, they was working on a microorganism, okay, which was basically a weakened laboratory strain of deadly bacteria. Which bacteria? Yersinia pestis. Right? Usually we know Yersinia pestis is known to cause plague, and in recent 30-40 years we have not seen any cases of plague because it has been eradicated. This person was working on a weakened laboratory strain of Yersinia pestis. As she was already knowing it is a weakened strain, what it can do, it can make you feel little confident, right? Sometime when you know the organism which I am handling is non-pathogenic. For example, If you are handling lactobacillus in the laboratory, you may not be that much careful sometimes. Although you are supposed to take all the precautions, but sometimes you may become careless. Sometimes you may leave, your guards open. Sometimes you will forget few things because you already know I am handling a weak laboratory strain or a non-pathogenic microorganism. But this pathogen caused the infection to her, and she got severe infection and later on died. Is it clear? So what this case study represents? Ignorance of biosafety could be very dangerous. Sometimes it could be lethal also. It and it can also lead to a bigger outbreak. Okay, bigger public outbreak where many people can get infected and many of them can die. I hope it's clear to everyone. Right? All of you will agree on this particular aspect of biosafety also. Right? Next, one more example. I don't remember whether I think I quoted this example to some of my students in one of the recent class when I was teaching West Nile virus. Maybe some of them are here also during the seminar. I don't remember exactly. You know, the these birds you are seeing in this picture. Okay, these birds basically serves as reservoir for West Nile virus. I hope being microbiology students or microbiology people, all of you understand what is the meaning of reservoir. Okay, a place, a organism, a source where microorganisms present naturally is considered as reservoir, right? So these birds acts as reservoir for West Nile virus. Okay, so So usually, if we want to or reduce the chances of West Nile virus outbreaks, one of the simplest thing is finding out the infected birds and eliminate them. So during while shooting this bird, some fluid came from its body and went to the eyes and face of the person or the forest officer, and he got infection. Although later on he recovered because West Nile virus is also having low mortality rate. Okay, but that also teaches us one lesson. Okay, what is that lesson we are learning from this? Need of increasing biosafety in workplace. It's very important whether we are working in uh, you know in a laboratory or we are working outside. If our job is to handle anything which can be infected with microorganism, it's very important that in that place, in that area, biosafety measures has to be increased. Can some of you tell me, in this particular incident, in this particular case, what kind of safety measures that first officer might have taken before doing this work? Can some of you answer that, maybe in chat box or maybe on mic? Angana has written face shield. Very good. What else? Anything else? Deepan is saying gloves. Sangram is saying wearing suit. Okay. Boot. Okay. Mask. Wearing face shield. Others also should have responded. I've seen mostly 3 4 people are responding, and we have a lot of people in this workshop. You know why we have limited the seats? So that everybody can participate, right? If only 3 4 people, 5 people are speaking, then that that then we could have allowed even 500 people in this group. Why we have stopped it to 50? That is the reason, so that most of you can participate, right? Maintaining the distance, okay. Safe spectacles, okay, very good. I'm seeing that some of you are giving very nice and relevant answers. Eye goggles, safety suit, yes. And not only these things in isolation, as I'm seeing, one person is saying one thing. Okay, like somebody is saying only eye goggles. Will that be sufficient? So we have to use, or that person must be using a set of protective equipments, like for example gloves. What you are saying collectively, all of them: gloves, mask, face shield, then the suit, the boots, all these things, right? And is it clear to everyone? So the message is clear with, I hope the message is very clear with this particular case study. I'll show you two more case studies and then we will stop this section. I will not go into very much details of the things because biosafety cannot be explained in an hour or two. It need several days. Right? It's a detailed subject. So this is one recent incident which took place in India. A Kerala nurse, Lini, who died attending Nipah virus patients, gets national fluorescence. She was she has got some award, but she has also suffered with laboratory acquired infection, or sorry, hospital acquired infection with Nipah virus. She was attending a patient who was suffering with Nipah virus. Again, although I should not be commenting, but what might have happened? What might have happened during this? Can somebody tell me from this case? What might have happened according to you? Again, there was some biosafety protocol which was missed by the staff member who was handling the patient at that point of time. And in that this particular case, this was the nurse who was handling the patient. Right? So this is very important that when we are dealing with patients, especially patients suffering with microbial diseases, or we are working in laboratory, we have to be very aware about biosafety measures which we will have to take. Okay, and more recently, so what this particular incident teaches us again, need of increasing biosafety in workplace, not only for microbiologists, for allied staff also, like nurse, sweepers, okay, the compounders who is working in the hospitals, attenders, okay, porters who is working in your hospital or laboratory. All these persons should also be having basic knowledge of biosafety, and they should also know how they can work safely. Yesterday evening, I was seeing news related to coronavirus at my home around 6 o'clock. Yesterday evening only, but I've seen in Varanasi, uh, hospital staff was taking samples from the corona patients without wearing any PPE except mask. He was wearing mask, but nothing else. Right? And when news channels spotted this and interviewed that person, he said that it's very high temperature right now, and wearing PPE kit, wearing that suit, as you are seeing in this photograph, okay, generates a lot of heat and sweat. So it's not good to wear. We can't wear it. That is the kind of, you can say that is the kind of attitude people are having. And more than attitude, it is about the knowledge what they're having. Still, you might find many people not at all acknowledging that coronavirus is a dangerous problem around your home, around your home, among your friends, among your family members. You might find many people saying कोरोना इज नथिंग, ये तो केवल कमजोर लोगों को ही होता है, बीमार जो पहले से ही बीमार है उन्हीं को होता है. You might find multiple people saying like that, right? And I don't know, many of you might be also thinking like that. Anybody can get infection. Severity of the disease may vary according to the health of the individual. Right? So, as a microbiologist, at least we have to be very much aware about all these things. Yes. And Brajesh is writing, I'm seeing in the chat box, some people are nicely responding. 5 doctors in the hospital in Varanasi were tested positive yesterday. See, yesterday itself. See, in the next slide, I will show you a few more important, uh, things. Right now, one more study, which one more news which I collected from this New York Times. Right, it says a drop of virus from a monkey killed a researcher in 6 weeks. This was that girl, okay, Elizabeth Griffin, okay, and this is her photographs of different age groups. Right, she was very bright student, okay, doing nice work, very helpful. One day, what she is doing, she was working with animal models also. So what she was doing is she was helping one of her colleague to shift a cage of animal, animals like cage of monkey basically, and that monkey was used for developing a model of a virus. Is it clear? That monkey was used to create a disease in it, viral disease in it. Okay, when she was helping to shift that case from one place to other place, It is not exactly known what happened, but she got exposed to a virus which was used on that monkey. Okay, maybe it has scratched her, maybe some aerosols which has generated from the monkey came to her eyes or maybe to nose, maybe it has passed some urine, some fluid or some scratches which monkey made on her made her infected with that virus, right? And then the virus infected this girl and she became infected with that virus, and later on, within few days, few weeks, she died, right? So a very bright student can also get accidental problems like this. Now, what is the learning from this particular case study? Ignorance of safety procedures in workplace, in laboratories could be very, very dangerous. Right? So we should never ignore the safety procedures. What might have happened? How she might have got exposed? Obviously, at that point of time, she might not be wearing proper protective gear. While for handling infected animal, the animal which has already been injected with a virus or with a deadly organism, it is a thumb rule that you should be using full gear, full protective clothing before going even near to them. Is it clear to everyone? So that again teaches us that ignorance of standard procedures of biosafety could be very lethal, and it could lead to the death of the individuals also. Okay, next important case study is related to a recent incident which happened in 2001 related to the anthrax virus. It was an attempt of bioterrorism, right? And I hope maybe most of you, as you are studying in MSc and BSc, some of you might be very small, maybe some of you might have not born also, I'm not sure. 2001, some of you might be, you know 5 years, 10 years, I'm not sure about your age group, but probably I'm seeing most of you are young in this group, right? So in 2001, in America, uh, several letters were received to senators, like we call MP, MLAs in our parliament, right? Similarly, they use the term senators and journalists. Okay, some prominent senators and journalists, they received envelope by the post, government postal services on their addresses. Okay, this was those envelopes. Some of these photos I have taken from internet. Okay, and these envelopes, when they opened, they were filled with the spores of bacillus anthracis. Spores of bacillus anthracis. And as soon as they opened this envelope, some spores, they got it is like a talcum powder. Spores looks like talcum powder. So some spores got dispersed, and many people got infection because of these particular envelopes filled with the spores. So it was a attempt of bioterrorism, and that point of time, America blamed Al Qaeda and Iraq for sending these kind of letters. And I think all of you might know, America then fought a war with Al Qaeda, and it almost ruined the Iraq. Right? Later on, it was find out that it was this person, Bruce Edward Libins. He was involved in this bioterrorism attempt, and he was a scientist at in American Institute only, right? So a small breach in other than biosafety, a small breach in biosecurity can make countries to fight war among each other. And here is a classical example of it. It's one of the other aspect of biosafety, that is called biosecurity. What this person has done, this person has stolen these cultures, these spores, and then he have misused them. So it is intentional misuse of dangerous microorganism. It's a other aspect of biosafety which is called as biosecurity, right? So the events, this person, he was an American microbiologist, vaccinologist, senior biodefense researcher at the United States Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Disease. You can understand what, you know credentials he might be having to his name. He has served into these many big positions, and that too he was part of US Army itself, right? And he was the key suspect in 2001 anthrax attack in the US, right? Later on, United States Department of Justice on August 6, 2018, FBI and DOA, that is Department of Justice, officials formally announced that the government had concluded that Levins was likely solely responsible for the death of 5 persons who died during this incident and the injury of dozens others which happened due to this particular incident, right? And you know what this letters overall results in? The letters containing anthrax spores were mailed to several news media officials and two Democratic US senators. It killed 5 people and infecting 17 others. Many of them got severe problems. I hope with that you have understand one more aspect of biosafety, that is nothing but the biosecurity. Okay, this is last slide for first session. That with this I'll try to conclude this particular session. This is some of the news which I have collected from the recent uh, incidents which is happening. Okay, if you see the dates also, I think it has been mentioned. These two, I think it is of 9th April, although I can't see dates over here, but it is of 9th April, I think. Both of these, first two, right? And you can see here, what is the title? 53 COVID-19 detected cases detected among the doctors, medical student at AIMS Bhopal, one of the premier institute of India. Okay. Second, COVID-19, 35 doctors tested positive at AIMS Delhi, one of the most premier medical institute of India. Similarly, see, 37 people were tested positive at Sir Gangaram Hospital, okay, which is also a very, very reputed hospital in India, in Delhi, right? So this says that people who is even working at very reputed institutes are also, having some limitations of biosafety related aspects, or there are some issues. Because of that, people are getting infected in large numbers. Okay, that is because of various things, including maybe lack of personal protective equipments, maybe improper functioning of equipments which they are using, maybe maybe the workload they are having, excessive sample, maybe excessive workload, maybe the attitude what people are having, as I giving you one example of Varanasi little while ago. Okay, or it may be our normal habits which we have, day-to-day habits. We have a habit of eating in a group. Whatever happens, if we are in office, if we are in workplace, we have a habit of eating in a group, which is a bad habit in this situation at least, right? So all these things combinedly is contributing towards the outcome of this kind of situations. So I hope with all these case studies which I presented to you, although there could be many more incidents than these, some of the key or the important case studies I've selected here and presented in front of you. I hope with these case studies you might be able to understand that what is the importance of biosafety for us, especially especially people like us who is working with the microorganism, or students like you, those who want to make your career in the field of microbiology, and many of you are wishing to go into virology and other hospital related jobs, right? So thank you for this session. If you want to learn more about biosafety and other microbiology thing, you can even join my YouTube channel. I've quoted the link over here. I'll also post this link in chat box. Maybe from there you can join this channel. I posted many videos on biosafety, even on corona, in my YouTube channel. You guys can join it, watch the videos. If you want, you can subscribe also.